Hi, my name is Marina, and if you come across with this podcast, I want you to know that this is not by chance. Everything in this world happens for a reason, and maybe this is the moment for you to feel at peace, to take a pause, and talk with your inner self. And actually, for a long time, I felt that I wanted to start a podcast, but I struggled to find the subject, the words, the time, or maybe I just was putting excuses to myself and resisting the idea, thinking that it wasn't my place. Many times I ask myself, really, Marina, like, who am I to share my thoughts? What I have new to say that it hadn't already been said? I will come up with excuses like, I need to know more, I need to read more, I don't know exactly what to say, or my English is not good enough. But let me tell you a secret. The perfect moment doesn't exist. The perfect moment is now, in this very instant, is in this deep breath that reminds you that everything you need is already here. So if you want to start something, don't wait any longer. We only have the present. That's why I decided to start this podcast. So lately I've been reading a lot about personal growth and spirituality, and also with some things that have happened in my life. So I believe this podcast might be helpful for those who need, like me, a little bit of light in their lives. We will talk about the most important things in this life, but without pressure, without the need to find definitive answers, just talking, reflecting, and enjoying the process. So I want to start by talking a little about myself. Who am I? Well, my name, as I say, is Marina. I'm from Spain, specifically from Reus, a small city near Barcelona. And my family comes from a working class, and I want to emphasize working because they truly are. My dad had his own business, a small shop for curtains, home textile, which was very important for my family because that's where my mom and dad met. And later, my little sister and I came along. I have to admit that my dad always had like a special place in my heart. Maybe because I was his first daughter, maybe because we share many things of interest. In fact, I started painting because my dad used to paint when he was young. We saw movies together and read National Geographic magazines. He transmitted to me his love for the sea. And actually, that's how I got my name, Marina. So I guess I had a happy and quiet childhood. In other episodes, I will talk more about the childhood and teenage years. But today I want to focus on the moment that was turning point in my life. Maybe the moment I truly started to becoming an adult. So I believe that we should never grow up because I believe we should never lose our inner child. In fact, to have a full and happy life, it's really important to keep that part of ourselves, that spontaneous curiosity and playful that only kids have. As I said, my dad has always been a great role model for me. I always deeply admired how much he enjoyed his work. He was creative. He designed his own collections and he traveled for around the world looking for the best fabrics. He went to Turkey, to Florence, to India, to Morocco, to China. So you could tell how passionate he was about what he did. He always teach me how important is to work hard, but the most important is doing something that you truly love. I'm from Barcelona, and as you know, we have a famous monument, La Sagrada Familia. It was built by Gaudí. And Gaudí, he always says that to do something good, you need two things. First, the technique. You need technique and knowledge to do the things. But second of thing, passion and love. You need to do the things with love. If not, you don't need to do it. Since I was a kid, I love animation movies. Really, I could spend many hours looking at the TV. I know it's not healthy for a kid, but it really makes me dream. I love Disney and Pixar movies. So I knew I want to study that and to create new dreamers. So my dad encouraged me to study animation, and thanks to him, I was able to study what I love. He used a big part of his savings to pay me for a private university so I could study what made me happy. When I finished animation degree, all my friends start working in places, so I get stressed. And I decide to apply everywhere in the world because I need a job. I get stressed, so I apply everywhere in the world. And they call me from Canada. So, yeah. It's really easy to say, oh, I'm moving to another country. But actually, when you find yourself alone there, far away from your family, far away from everything you knew, like you understand loneliness. For the first time, I realized why people say that humans are social animals. Really, we're not meant to be alone. I moved to Canada for work, but I realized that happiness isn't just about personal success. It's about having people to share life with. Community gives us like strength, support, and sense of belonging. Humans' connections had shaped our society and existence. So the first months in Canada, really, I was really lonely. I couldn't find meaning in anything. But then I met a group of people that became my family. And actually, the other day I was reading my diary. I really recommend you to have a diary because sometimes when our mind is really busy, you just put all these busy thoughts in a paper, and you can leave it there. So you feel more in peace. So yeah, I was reading my diary and I found a paragraph. I found a text talking about one winter's night. You know what I mean? Canadian winter. So it's like minus 20 degrees at least. Like I remember it was really, really cold and me and my friends, we decided to go to the river of Montreal to make a barbecue. I feel I was not the only one alone. All of us, we feel that we miss our families. So we became a family there. It was really, really cool. But what I wrote about that day was, finally, I'm happy again, Marina. This is my people. And looking back, I understand that you cannot rely on life circumstances to find happiness. Really. But sometimes it comes from knowing that even in the coldest moments, the heart can find warmth when it knows it's not alone. So yeah, finally, I found my place. I had friends, I had a job that I enjoy, and a daily life full of new experience in an unknown country with people of around the world. I was young, wild, and free, I could say, really. But after a year, a question comes to me. Should I return to Spain? I feel that my mind and heart wanted to stay in Canada. And you know how difficult sometimes is for the mind and the heart to get along, So why I want to return to Spain? But sometimes humans, we forgot that we are not only mind and heart. Also, I think we have the soul, something deeper inside me felt that I needed to come back to Spain. I didn't have a clear reason, but I made the decision to return to Spain. And the few first months actually were hard for me. People say that it's hard to leave home, but also I think that it's harder to return to it. I felt like I take a step back, like I wasn't growing anymore. I was too young to stay in a comfortable place. I needed to explore, I needed to live, I needed to meet people. So I started planning to go back to Canada or to go to live to Australia maybe. I told my parents, I told my friends, everyone. But then life came to me. Everything changed overnight. My dad caught a pneumonia and he passed away in one day. Without warnings, without time to process. One day he was here, and the next day he was gone. That day, he was not the only one who died. I also died. My sister and my mom also died. The strongest pillar in our family was gone. So all the home fall down and get destroyed in one moment. So this past year, we took all the pieces left and we tried to build a new home from the ruins. It's not easy. My dad was the constructor, you know. My mom, my sister and me, we don't know how to build a home. So sometimes it fall, but step by step we are learning how to do the things and our home starts to have shape. Sometimes you even think, what is the purpose really? Like, what is the purpose if my dad will not be here to see the new home? But we try to be strong. I believe this past year has taught me the most important lesson of my life. It has taken away from me a lot, but also shown me what love truly is. And I think love is not present enough in our lives. All of us, we know that one day we will die, but we imagine that this will happen when we are old and after we lived everything we were meant to live. But not always is this ways. Sometimes people live when they shouldn't, and not always because of a long illness or a slow decline. Sometimes it happens overnight, and nothing prepared you for that, really. The day my dad died, it wasn't just him who died, as I say. Also, I died, really. And I'm sure that many of you have also lost someone close to you, someone you love. The price that we pay for loving is to face the death. I'm sure many of you have lost someone close to you, someone that you love. The gift hidden in this pain is that also you can reborn. In one lifetime, you can live more than one life. It doesn't need to be death necessarily. Maybe your pain can be a broken heart, a loss of a job, or loss of a friend, loneliness, anything. For me, it was the death of my dad. That January 8th of 2024, my dad passed away and also Marina did. But in her place, someone new was born. And despite everything that I've been through, I feel really lucky, really. Because all this pain that I felt is only possible because I have also loved so deeply. I was lucky to have the dad I had, to learn from him and to also learn from his absence. And maybe life is about that, about everything that has hurt us and how to turn it into something meaningful. About to take the pain we experience and finding a way to make something beautiful of it. I want this podcast to be about that, about everything that has hurt us and how to turn it into something meaningful, about taking the pain we experience and finding a way to make something beautiful of it. This is the first time that I share how I felt this past year. But if it has helped me, maybe it can help others. Those who have lost someone, those who feel lost themselves, or those who are simply searching for a new way to look at life. So finding the right name for this podcast was not easy, really. I wanted something that I feel close to my heart. My dad loved the sea, and so do I. And since I was little, whenever I feel sick or I hurt myself, my grandmom and my family will tell me to go to the sea. Seawater is magic, they will say to me. But actually, you know that scientifically, like, it's true. Seawater, it have the same composition of that water that surrounds us before we are born. You know, like the water of the belly of the mom. It's the same composition. Also, it's like really similar composition of the tears. It makes us to feel safe. It can calm us. Just like crying can help us feel better, at the same time it helps us. And I believe they were right. The seawater holds the wisdom we often forgot. I believe that sea is a healer. It washes over us, reminding us that we are healed, that we are part of something bigger. Just like tears, it can clean us, making space for something new. I want to share with you one last metaphor about life connected to the sea. I do believe that we are part of something bigger than us. You can call it God, you can call it universe, the soul, or the higher conscious. like we have many names for the same thing. Imagine that all of us, we are small particles in this big ocean. Sometimes we reach the shore and become a wave, and we crash against the rock, and for one moment we step out of the sea and become a small piece of water. This small drop of water represents our time in this life as human body. We are given the gift of going out of this ocean, even if it's just for a moment, to experience human life. But in the end, we will return where we came from, the sea. The beautiful part is that we can choose to learn as much as we can during this time here. When we return, we will bring something new with us. So I'm not longer afraid of the death, really. I used to fear it, but now I know that I come from there, and when I return it, maybe I will see my dad again. In fact, I'm not scared because I really feel it inside me. So I believe that sea is a healer, and also can remind us that we are part of something bigger. It can teach us to let go and to trust in life. And just like tears, can clean us, making space for something new. That's why I wanted my podcast name to carry the essence of the sea. So I choose Sailing with Marina. Together we will explore the sea of life, sailing the currents of love, the storm of loss, and the calm of self-discovering. Just the sea, the journey, and us. We are coming to the end of this episode, and I wanted to share with you one last belief that I have and really helped me this last year. I believe that everything that happened to us, even the hardest moment, is something our soul already knows, and we still choose to be here because simply living is worth it. We already know the challenge we will face, and we still choose to be here because simply living is worth it. And I do believe that it's through difficulties that we grow, that we understand, that we become. And in the end, all of this is about reconnecting with the magic of life. As Rumi once said, we are a spark that carries all the universe. So thank you for being here and exploring life with me. If you think that this episode could help someone, I will truly appreciate that you share it. I will see you in the next episode of Sailing with Marina. Bye!